Let's obviously get to the marquee fight of the weekend. Regis Prograis losing to Josh Taylor via, was it majority decision? I want to say, right? Was it majority decision?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, BoxRec just logged me out. Thank you, BoxRec. But digressing from that, obviously this was a close back and forth fight. I really don't care to get into scorecards here, to be honest. I think me and Gary scored it for Regis Prograis. I think Fu scored it for Taylor by a round, I want to say, right? And then obviously
Yeah.
Rob scored it for Taylor on the live fight chat. But I don't care to get in that argument because to me the fight was too good to really matter. And plus it was a hardcore fight. Like whenever a hardcore fight happens, I think naturally those scorecard conversations go away because us hardcores, when we're the only ones that care about it, we know that that just is a side topic when the real topic is how amazing this fight was, how we saw so much development and skill and talent from both men that we had not seen before, honestly. Even Josh Taylor's case, even though we know that Josh Taylor can go through adversity within a fight, a la the Victor Postal fight, he still showed wrinkles to his game we had never seen before. And this was just, again, such a perfect pairing between two amazing undefeated fighters that I'm still in awe of this matchup and how it sort of went down. Rob, we're a couple days out from the fight now. Thoughts on the matchup?
Yeah, it was really good. Just top level. Really enjoyed it. I think like a lot of people were surprised at Josh Taylor on the inside, how he, how they sort of got real in close to each other. And sort of looking back on it, was that like obviously a really good tactic because of Prograis as a puncher. It just maybe didn't allow the leverage on Prograis' punches by getting in close. It didn't have the full sort of power on those shots. But yeah, great fight. Both guys for me come out of this was just their stock has just risen. Even Prograis in defeat, he's been class since the defeat with his social media posts and even his post fight just showed what a sort of champion. I think he'll come again. He'll be, I'm sure, a world champion again somewhere down the line. But no, real high level. And it's like Eddie said afterwards, he was asked about it. He said, we just felt going in, how could this not be a great fight? But there's always that worry when you put on a show. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be a great fight. And there's just occasionally something just doesn't deliver. And you're like, oh, this was going to be. But he said, all the time I'm convincing myself this cannot be anything other than a great fight. Just the style matchup. Sometimes it just doesn't spark off and it's not great. But, everyone seemed to enjoy the fight. I know some had opinions on it, who they thought won and what rounds and what the judges scored, but like you said, put all that to one side for just a second, just to appreciate what an amazing fight it was and what these two guys did in the ring with each other for 36 minutes was for our pleasure, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Gary, again, a couple days off from the fight now. You were on the live fight chat with us as well. Any sort of new thoughts from the fight now that it's, again, a couple days away from it? Couple days removed.
Josh Taylor is phenomenal.
He really is.
He's a complete package. I thought if Prograis were able to get on the inside that he would have his way. And Taylor held his own on the inside.
If not, got the better of the inside.
Better of it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of Prograis' good work actually came from the jab off the outside where he set up the jab and then the right hook off the jab. But Taylor did more than handle his business on the inside. He may have won the fight on the inside. I was not expecting that at all. Taylor's going to be a tough out for anyone at 140, and with the size, I think he converts nicely into a full-blown welterweight within a year or two.
Oh, absolutely. I that's going to be a conversation I want to address and tackle is the welterweight run that Taylor's going to have, even Prograis is going to have, and Ramirez, because that's a conversation that's worth having because all these guys look to be the goods, even in Prograis in defeat, right? But Fu, since we have not heard your thoughts on the fight, what are your thoughts on the fight, man? Like thoughts on the scorecard, thoughts on the X's and O's of the matchup itself within the ring, overall thoughts on it? Go.
Well, like we sort of talked about in our little chat that, we all have our top fights, and for me, I think this is my fight of the year. Mainly not because there was a lot of adversity or there were knockdowns or anything like that, but because it was two pretty evenly matched
guys at the top of their game, like two champions, undefeated. Neither one gave up ground. No one ran for rounds or took rounds off. Like they literally put everything they had on the line, 12 rounds, and the best man won. Like on that night, to me, Taylor was in every round for the entire round, where Prograis started to lose steam, I think, a lot in that last minute of every round. I don't know if it was conditioning or travel or what, but Taylor seemed to finish a lot of the rounds stronger. And that, to me, is what really swayed like the scorecards. I think if they rematch, it could go very differently. And I could see anyone having the fight for Prograis. I had it scored for Taylor. I posted my scorecard on Twitter. I know you had a dispute about the 12th round, but I thought there were a lot of swing rounds.
Again, like I don't want to get into that conversation because there's other shows that are going to have an hour-long conversation about who won each round. But this is one of those fights that's just not needed, in my opinion. But there's no way you should score that 12th round for Josh Taylor. You're completely out of line there, Fu. You're completely out of line there, Fu. But regardless, Josh Taylor, to the points that Gary made, I wanted to sort of tackle that more. His inside game looked just on another level, and we all thought Prograis was going to have that advantage, right? Like even the people that like Rob, like you picked Taylor to win, you probably didn't think that Taylor was going to outwork and out hustle and out manhandle Prograis on the inside, even, right?
Well, I said I think he'll box and box, but he can't help getting in and like a tear up. He will get in there and do it and fancy a fight, but it may not be the wisest of things. But yeah, it was surprising that would seem to be the tactic. And like I say, did that negate Prograis' power? Getting in so close and sort of being on his chest, and did that stop the leverage on Prograis' shots? I don't know.
And we talked about this also, that Prograis lacked real adversity on them come up, even though he fought real opponents. Like, you're not saying that Prograis fought bums or anything like that. Prograis fought former world champions, former world contenders, and title challengers. He fought good opponents, Kayla Raylick and Julius Ndongo, for example. Those are good opponents. But he never faced adversity within the fight. He never faced a guy that was going after him like a guy like Josh Taylor was. And I think there was an issue of just not firing back enough from Prograis, not firing back enough mid-combination of Taylor enough. He would sit there, take a combination, and then fire back his own. It obviously had that sort of aesthetic throughout the fight of one guy firing off and then the other guy waiting, and then when the other guy stopped, he would then fire off, right? But Taylor seemed to fire off more often, more combinations and longer combinations, and he would also be more effective with the shots, it seemed.
Taylor also has a magnificent feint that he turns into like a really good uppercut.
Yes.
And a really good like lead hook. And the whole fight, Prograis was kind of falling for it. And then another thing I noticed about Taylor, when you get to that top level, you really have to be able to take whatever your opponent's willing to give you. And like, he never really forced anything. He just noticed that if he doubled up the jab, that eventually like Prograis was going to kind of cover up, and then he came with the hook off of that jab. And then as soon as like Prograis would lean way to the right, then he would just hit him with a right hook, to the body. And like every time he was just, anything Prograis was willing to give, he just took. And I think that's where he really won the fight. Whereas like Prograis never got into a good rhythm in the fight to me. He never, like, he was really like pity pat shots to score some points, but never like looked like he could hurt Taylor enough to really put him.
I wouldn't say pity pat shots, because there's definitely one moment where he did seem to hurt Taylor. But I will say this: the rhythm factor that is huge. And I also want to add to this point. I think a large aspect of Prograis' game is control, right? And I've talked about this a lot of times in the past about certain fighters that control is something that they value highly in terms of strategy for a fight. That if they lack control, their game sort of falls apart in a way, right? Prograis, I'm not saying he is that guy yet because he's only had one loss. We need to see more, but be on the lookout for that. Is he a guy that he needs to be in control? He needs to be the lead dance partner in the fight. If he's not, then he struggles to win rounds. If that's the case, then that's something that he needs to work on. Again, I don't know if that's the case because this is his real one fight that we can look at and go, it's an example of it. But that's what happens when you only have one loss and it's your first loss.
I I want to say I saw a tweet. Someone said, "There you go. Josh Taylor has just shown you the blueprint to beat Regis Prograis." And I thought, good luck to any fighter that isn't on the level of Josh Taylor. Then,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way to fight Regis Prograis if you're not that guy. Taylor has got a fucking chin, and he took some like bad body shots. He took some, ate an uppercut off Prograis. I can't remember what round it was, but I think in the live fight chat. Oh my God, Taylor just took that up he's shown he's elite. We saw 16th fight. He's now a unified champion, and I just feel. I think I said it in part of my prediction that we've seen Josh Taylor gut out a 12-round decision after a bit of trouble. We've seen the dog in him come out. Prograis was telling everybody he's got that dog in him. He's got that edge. You just haven't seen it yet. Well, it needed to come out, and not saying it didn't, but he was just slightly out-dogged. And
he was just bullied on the inside. He was just bullied.
And especially
when Taylor would throw that shoulder, kind of like just push him back, like he had no answer. Like he could get at the separation he wanted, and then he'd come right back in and win on the inside too. Like he was bullied the whole fight.
And shout out to Taylor, he put a lot of rounds in the bank early. Like by round 7 or something, like you could tell that he had put some rounds in. Even though maybe the first 4 rounds were close. I know Gary put all 4 rounds for Prograis, though. You could tell that to use this term, the story of the fight was going Taylor's way up until really Prograis was able to sort of get that second wind in him, because by round 4 it seemed Prograis was tired, or not tired, but he seemed to be again playing catch up throughout the round, and that you can't play catch up within a fight and expect to win a round. It's just impossible at times.
Yep.
Gary, you've been awfully quiet over there. You were the one that obviously scored it for Prograis again on the second watch.
I still scored the first 4 rounds all for Prograis, and the first 2 definitely could have gone to Taylor. They could have gone. The first 2 were toss-ups. I thought Prograis landed a couple better body shots, but yeah, Prograis was losing the story of the fight. Like you could see in the 5th round, Taylor figured some things out. He got back to moving, and yeah, Prograis couldn't get in anymore. And Taylor was having his way 5, 6, 7. I thought the 8th was close, 9th, 10th, all Taylor rounds. And then you saw Prograis, I don't want to say he got desperate, but may have gotten desperate in the 11th and 12th and kind of went for broke and had some success there. But in the eyes of the judges, if he didn't give him all 4 rounds, or the first 4 rounds, it was too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, I know Matt's gone now, so we can talk scorecards, but most of the judges had it 2-2 after 4 rounds.
And if you
That's how I had it.
If you had a 2-2, then you probably scored it for Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. I think so, because from about the 5th on, Taylor took a lot of the rounds.
After 4 rounds, the judge that gave it the 114-114 draw had Taylor 3-1 up after 4. So, but interesting.
Again, there's so many close rounds. I mean, you could give 8 and 9 to Prograis, and if you give him the last 2, what other round did that judge? You still got to find one more.
Well, the judge that gave it the 115-113, he had like Fu Taylor winning the 12th, whereas all the other judges had Prograis winning that 12th. But
see, and here's the thing with like championship boxing, the scorecards are always going to be close. Like they're always, and it's going to be so subjective as to what you like. If you like someone who comes out hot early in the round, and then you don't maybe weigh as much toward the end of the round, and then the guy who was 117, 112 obviously is a guy who is going to score it for anyone who steals the last minute of a round, because that's what Taylor really did the whole night. Like it's really hard to judge like a fight that is this close in skill level.
I mean,
that's the thing.
A lot of people said they had it a draw at the end of the fight. I've seen a bunch of people who had it a draw. And just so people know, had that been the outcome of the fight, it would have gone to the 4th judge who had it 116-112 to Taylor. So that's how it would have been decided in that case.
It would have, though. It would have affected bookies and betting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would have affected that, but that's beside the point. I don't really know exactly what you're getting to, but I think you're just, you guys were just talking about scorecards, how hard it is to judge fights like this. A la even Spence Porter, right?
Bringing up about Gary giving Prograis the first 4 rounds,
Oh.
and I said most of the official scorecards had it 2-2. I said, and the judge that had it,
I think I had it 3-1, for example, after 4.
The one who gave it 113 to Taylor actually had Prograis 3-1 up, and the judge that had it a draw had he had it Prograis 3-1 up. Oh, I totally misread it a minute ago. I thought they had it 2-2. But
I think the first round is a clear, not a clear Taylor round, but it's close to a clear Taylor round. The next 3 rounds are close.
Gave Taylor. We were pretty easily like.
One of the judges scored the first round for Prograis, which I did. It was really close. I thought Prograis landed the cleanest shot, and they traded jabs and body shots. So,
but
this is why on the show I wasn't so like outraged by 117 or whatever it was. I'm not outraged, but I felt harsh. But we're here now discussing how close rounds were. So if he slightly went that way, he went that way. I'm not saying it's right, but this isn't like out of the realms.
But what we can say is that a 117, 111, right? I think that's what it was, right?
12. It was a 10-10 round.
Oh, there was a 10-10 round. Ooh, Santiago must be proud.
UK scoring.
UK scoring.
No, that was my paisan. That was the Italian judge.
Okay.
European scoring, to make it more general. But I will say this, that scorecard does not accurately reflect the close nature of this fight. And that's not a issue necessarily maybe with that judge's scorecard, but that's an issue with just the scoring criteria as it stands, maybe, or how the 10-point must system is working. Because, like you say, Rob, and like we've said, like if you like a certain thing, sometimes fights end up really wide when they shouldn't be. Yeah. And you can be objective and go, wait, that fight was close, but my scorecard's wide. And I think we've all had that at times, right? I think that's an issue with the scoring system. That is maybe not an issue with that individual judge, because like we've all said, like Josh Taylor winning isn't an issue. Like if anyone scored for Josh Taylor or even Regis Prograis, I don't think any of us have a real significant issue with that. It's when the scorecards don't reflect that this fight was ultra competitive and ultra close, and that is an issue with the scoring system.
Yeah,
and that specifically.
I said this to Phil in our chat that I would have felt had Prograis got the decision, I would have had a slight feeling of the wrong guy got the nod. I felt the right guy won the fight. Super close, but for me, had Prograis given it, I wouldn't be like robbery or crazy any talk like that. But for me, it wouldn't have just quite sat right as the winner, because I felt on the night Josh Taylor won the fight. So
but again, to rephrase my point, maybe because maybe you didn't understand, or people out there don't understand, just for the audience sake. I use this sort of framing when we talk about PD regulation, right? When we talk about Heather Hardy coming up, right? I always try to make it more of a macro topic, because when we're talking about PD regulation, we're talking about systems and institutions and how they function, not necessarily one individual fighter in their individual case. You have to look at it as a system and how it functions and works in a totality, so to speak. With scoring, with judging, I try to do the same. You know, for individual scorecards that we've have had issues with, some of them you have to go look back and go, maybe they look at something individually in that fight and they like that period and they like it in all the fights. And that's an issue with, again, the scoring system and the system and institutions that make it work and how it functions. And if we tackle that, maybe we fix judging in boxing more so than getting pitchforks for a individual judge here and there. A la Adelaide Bird, a la, who was the other one? CJ Ross? Was that the other one, right?
I got to meet Adelaide Bird when I was in Reno. Her husband reffed the fight that I was at, and I told her that she got the winner right in the Canelo Triple G fight in the first fight, which I think she did. I think Canelo won the first fight. So I said, hey, you got the right winner in that fight.
Gary over there with a hot take over here. Damn.
Buttering them up. No. Speaking of like those moments where you're like, oh shit, like when a punch connected, like the 5th round when Prograis got caught with that like right hook to the body and he kind of just like stumbled sideways a couple of steps. I was like, oh shit, that was a big shot, man. There were a few moments in that fight where I just didn't know how they both stayed up, you know? What a fight, man.
Gus Sandoval in the chat. Berg got one right finally.
Yeah.
But guys, moving on. Brief conversation about what's next for both guys here. Josh Taylor, what's next for Mr. Josh Taylor? Is it a voluntary defense in the UK against Lewis Ritson that's been rumored? I know Rob's shaking his head like, please no. I'm a Ritson fan. I don't want to see that.
No, I just want to say his team have poured water on cold water on that,
Good.
saying like
I wanted to ask a question real quick. Oh,
it's a backward step.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. So
good. What did you say, Gary?
I
Before you interrupted Rob so rudely?
just real quick, the three of you. If you had to pick and I know Canelo might change all of this next week, but right now, through 10 months of the year, pick your fighter of the year. Is it fair to say it's Josh Taylor?
You can have Josh Taylor be your fighter of the year. I think that's perfectly fine to have. I think if Canelo goes up there and beats Kovalev, though,
That changes everything.
It's clearly Canelo, in my opinion.
For sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's Canelo. He beat Kovalev and Jacobs. It's
Without
no
Or
contest.
if Ruiz beats Joshua again.
Ooh,
that'd be up there too.
yeah.
That'd be up there as well. I would say this: there's a lot of interesting options for fighter of the year when it comes to December, probably.
Yeah.
Especially if Andy wins that fight. That he instantly becomes a significant contender, and plus he probably has the more notable wins, right? If we're talking about anyone that's out there beating up someone that's being watched by tens of millions of people online, either via viral knockout videos or just on DAZN, Andy's being watched by a lot of people right now. That means something, especially when it comes to like ESPY awards, when it comes to those sort of fight of the year nominations.
what about the Zone Spee award?
Stop.
Are they doing awards? Is the zone doing awards?
I don't know. I'm just fucking around.
The zone beat. So bad. That was such a dad
I
joke.
think if we
Still up?
don't get the Ramirez Taylor fight, then we will have something stolen from us. I hope that happens quickly.
Now, obviously, both guys have mandatories. We have Ramirez, who has Victor Postal, and then Jack Catterall for his WBC and WBO mandatories coming up. I'm assuming he has to get both of those out of the way before he fights.
Check out the
Josh
IBF
Taylor.
one for Taylor.
I don't even know the person's name.
Try it.
Push all that shit to
Nope.
the side and just get the real fight on. That's
Well, the postal fight with Ramirez is close to done. They've delayed the purse bid yet again. I think the final thing of that is Wednesday, but they keep pushing it back. So suggestions are that it's close to done, right? So
I will say this on very quickly, Gary, before you jump in there. I really don't want to see the Jack Catterall fight at all. Like, I don't mind the Postal fight for Ramirez. I even don't mind, again, a Josh Taylor in between like tune-up fight, because he just went through hell this year. So I really don't mind that. But summertime, they need a fight. They need to. Whether it's in Staples or in the UK, Ramirez and Taylor need a fight. I need that for my soul. Okay? Please, boxing gods. We're begging you here.
you just had a really good one for
Yeah,
yourself.
but we need the number one. I want an
He's
answer.
number one. He's got the Ring Magazine title.
Fuck the Ring Magazine. It's owned by Oscar De La Hoya. I don't care about that. So I need this fight, because this isn't like Beterbiev beating, or as we were corrected, Rob, Beterbiev as a Russian.
Because one person said so.
Hey, they were a Russian.
Were they?
I don't know. They had a Russian-looking name. But digressing from that, at least Beterbiev has like most of the titles in the division right now. They don't have that here. It's evenly split, 2-2. I want that fight. Summertime, let's go. Wembley.
You wouldn't think they would have to take both the mandatories, right? Like at a certain point, unifications, especially undisputed unifications, are going to take precedence.
they
dude,
can get somebody to step aside. They'll just pay them money. That's like what they would do, you know?
I don't know, man. Look, we've had weird situations here, man. A la Canelo, a la Tyson Fury, like Lomachenko now. Like, who knows? Franchise champion could come into it. A lot of shit could happen here where we don't get a true undisputed fight. And
God,
I'm not trying to put that negative energy out there into the universe, boxing gods. So don't listen to me.
But
No,
if
no.
anyone's going to do it, Matt will do it.
Suleiman said it would still be undisputed. Suleiman said.
Okay,
He said so.
that's true. He said it. He said it. He also said that franchise champion was in the championship, and then he said it was a championship. So I mean, he said it. whatever that means. But Josh Taylor, again, Ramirez fight, that needs to happen next year, in my opinion. And again, next year.
He wants it.
Yeah.
And I believe he wants it. I mean, God, all he's done is fought good competition for a while now.
His last 4 fights, right? It's Postal, Burnett, then he had Branchik, and then
No, he fought the blue chip
Prograis,
fight.
right?
Ryan,
He fought Charles Murray.
not Charles Martin or Murray. Ryan Martin.
Ryan Martin. Sorry, I was thinking Burnett for some
I like
reason,
how Fu and Gary mixed up Ryan Burnett's name.
Yeah. Sorry.
with Ryan
Sorry,
Martin.
Ryan Martin. My bad.
But
But look, like
let me give you some knowledge on Josh Taylor.
but the O'Hara Davis fight, God, years ago now. That's what,
Yeah.
2015, 16?
No,
2017? Was it that?
hang on.
When was the Davis fight?
Gonna give you some. That was
'Cause that started it. That started the run.
in 16 fights, Josh Taylor has faced opponents with a combined record of
I don't want
282
that stat.
wins.
I don't want that stat. That's a cool stat, but I want you to answer the question. I'll just
It's
answer for myself.
With 68 losses, 14 draws, 4 past or present world champions, and 4 undefeated boxers.
Here is who he fought, guys, because I know Rob did not answer what any of us were talking about.
No, Rob, he answered his own question.
I know he answered his own question. I know that. I
He
know
gave
that.
some propaganda piece to make Taylor look even better. It's like, that's not what I asked. It's like,
Gary, you asked on the show, should we be considering him for pound? I just told you what his fucking record is.
Digressing. Well, we wanted names and dates. He fought O'Hara Davis. Hold on. He fought O'Hara Davis in 2017, so I was wrong. It was actually much earlier. Not earlier. Later. Thank you. Than I expected. And then he fought Miguel Vasquez after that. And they
First
fought
person to stop him.
yes, which was a good notable
good
fight.
win. Yeah.
Winston Campos, which
I don't know who that is.
That's the late replacement.
it was, but that's and then Victor Post, Ryan Martin, Ivan Branchik, and then obviously Regis Prograis. So the guy's been on a run basically since 2017. And well, since you brought it up slightly, there, Rob, pound for pound, is Josh Taylor in our top 10 pound for pound guys?
Yep.
You make our pound for pound.
Well, I mean, we can make it our. Right now on Mixed Combat Radio, just my pound for pound list, but
For me,
we can make it ours.
I've seen people arguing today, saying, "Well, if he's on it, Ramirez needs to be on it." It's like, well, no, this resume comes into it, right?
No.
Like who you beat is kind of important. But yeah, I think I'm sticking with Beterbiev and like Josh Taylor. They've made a real case for jumping up into that top 10 pound for pound list for me. I think
It's interesting. Like if you put Triple G on your list, and there's probably not enough spots for Josh Taylor.
Triple G should not be in
You would
anyone's
not.
top
I
10
agree.
pound for pound list in 2019.
But like the Ring and ESPN still have him on their list. I don't think he should be because he hasn't beaten anyone in the last 2 years to make himself.
Yeah. We technically beat Derevchenko, but I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, but Jacobs beat him better, right? You don't put Jacobs on your list.
Canelo, so-
I mean, if we're talking about like questionable decisions here, Triple G Derevchenko is a worse decision in my opinion than Prograis Taylor. I'm being honest here.
What about Tyson Fury?
No, he's a heavyweight.
Wait,
What's
what do you
that
mean?
didn't stop the athletic.
His last 3 opponents are 84-0.
Look, the names that are going to slip in that might bump Taylor out would be guys like Jose Tanaka, Juan Francisco Estrada, Artur Beterbiev.
Estrada's got to be on a pound for pound list. He's got to be in the top 10.
Because
I would have probably 7th.
If you
But he's
beat
gotta-
someone in the top 10 pound for pound, you should be in the top 10 pound for pound. Like, that's just logical
Yeah.
sense here. He beat
It is,
Circuit, so
but
runs
then-
VI. He should be in the top 10 pound for pound, clear as day.
Is
Tanaka,
J-Rock on your pound
why
for
would he?
pound list?
Why would he be in the top 10 pound for
No.
pound?
Most people. I'm not saying Matt. I know you
No,
did,
no,
but Fu did. I'm asking Fu really because you didn't have Hurt on your pound for pound list, right?
No.
I think
so.
I did
I
at
did.
one point. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess if you have to stay consistent, then maybe. But honestly, no. I mean, Hurd looked so bad in that fight.
And
I don't know. That's a tough thing.
And there was no reason to put Hurd in your top 10 pound for pound. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, if you
top
had
15,
Laura on your
top
if
15,
you had
yes.
Laura on your pound for pound list, like
Laura
I did,
shouldn't have been on your top 10 pound
Well,
for pound list.
I had Laura on my top 10 pound for pound list, and then
But if you had Canelo's brother on your list,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, and
yes.
here's the thing though, and this is like, as a boxing fan, you should understand heavyweights shouldn't be in your pound for pound list unless they've moved up from a different weight class.
I disagree with that.
That
take,
would
but
be
it's
the
okay.
only way. The literal definition of the pound for pound list was made because they were trying to come up with a system to give as much shine to lesser weight opponents. Like that was the reason.
But
That-
I get that. But why couldn't? And I'm not saying he is, but let's take Wilder because there's really no Wilder fanboys in here. Why couldn't Wilder be pound for pound the best fighter in the world? Just why couldn't he be?
Because he doesn't have top 10 pound
No,
for pound.
I know,
skill.
but let's say he did. Let's say he beat everyone in the division, right? And he blew everybody out, a la Mike Tyson in the 80s.
Yeah, and I
right?
would say, first off, Tyson didn't blow everyone out in the heavyweight division in the 80s. He just blew out some guys. Secondly, I will say this.
Undisputed.
Well, there was like 2 titles back then, bro. Like,
There was 3, but yeah.
the
IBF was
WBO,
out by then.
the IBF was not recognized universally.
Larry Holmes won it, and then Larry Holmes gave up the WBC, and then we don't need to get into that.
It wasn't recognized until like the late 80s, early 90s, wasn't it?
It was the mid 80s. It was Holmes.
Right.
The end
Never
of
mind. Never mind. It
Holmes-
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I forgot what I was going to say here now, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
What were you
IBF.
guys saying? Because I was going to respond to one of you guys.
Oh shit! I'm so lost because someone just said Inoue hasn't beaten anyone. Like it just I blew my mind and I completely lost track of what the fuck we were talking about.
Look,
I mean, that's
Look, just-
yeah.
just-
we
just
just go
stop.
to the next. That's something name redacted would say, right? You don't
Yes.
follow smaller weight classes than
look. Inoue's a top 5 pound for pounder. He's not even in the discussion of not being in the pound for pound list. He's in it. He's top
him
5.
and Canelo have the best resume in the sport. Like,
And Lomachenko, like him,
Usyk,
Loma, Inoue, Usyk,
Crawford.
Crawford. Yeah,
Those are the top 5 guys. Like it's clear.
wait. Inoue did what Canelo's about to do. Inoue jumped up 2 weight classes and beat Navarez, who was champion for like a decade. And I know he was old, but I mean,
So is
Like-
Kovalev.
right? That's what I'm saying. Inoue kind of did what Canelo is trying to do.
And Inoue is doing it again and again in other weight classes. Sorry guys, if you don't think Inoue is in the top 5 pound for pound, then you're just crazy, and you're just not watching that division, which is fine.
You can make
Look,
an excellent argument. He's won.
you can.
he's
You can.
probably 1 or 2 as soon as he wins this fight against and unifies
Donaire.
the belt against Donaire. I mean, like
Absolutely.
legitimately.
Which is coming up soon, right? It's a
Well,
Thursday.
I mean, especially with Usyk looking kind of bad at heavyweight. I mean, come on. And Loma
No.
getting touched up a lot of lightweight. I mean, come on. Inoue is going up those pound for pound rankings easily.
Rob, do you think Usyk got touched up too much?
Let me make more jokes. And now we have Vajic losing. Like the Ukrainians are struggling here, fool. Like that was your team, man. What happened here? Why are the Ukrainians struggling?
Team Ukraine.
Wait, am I Team Ukraine?
You're 100% team Ukraine.
Yeah. What do they call themselves? Like when they merge the names together, and the 17, like Usyk, Loma have like a little like name, I think, or something. But
I didn't even know that. See, that's how
I
I,
think
know
they
you're
do,
part
yeah.
of the Ukrainian team because you know they're like pet names for each other.
Aw, that's cute.
no, I'm sorry. I'm just I'm floored by the fact that like some people really do believe that Inoue hasn't beat anybody. Oh man!
If you don't
blows my
follow-
fucking mind.
If you don't follow the smaller weight classes, you're going to think that, right? Like, I promise you, Name Redacted thinks that. I promise you that.
Oh no, they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go in like 10 minutes. So what were we even talking about?
I don't know. But Fu, since you have to go in 10 minutes, what do you want to talk about for the last 10 minutes?
Oh, where do Prograis, Taylor, and Ramirez go from here? Like, obviously, we want to see them fight each other, possibly a rematch. But then 147, right? That's where we need to see them, and then that's a ridiculous weight class.
Absolutely.
Holy shit!
Let me tell you, Josh Taylor, Shane McGuigan has poured cold water on any move up to 147 for Taylor. He said his career 140 pounder was in that category at the amateurs. He's been doing it. If he goes up to 147, he loses his sizes, his advantages that he carries in at 140.
And then when all that money starts being offered to him to move up, he's gonna be like, "Man, McGuigan, shut the fuck up! All the money's up there. Let me go up there."
Just adding stuff to the show.
I know, but I think like that's a really bad idea from his team to even say that and think that. That's ridiculous. Plus, Taylor's a big 140 pounder. Like, he's bigger than Prograis, I would say. And Prograis, we're talking about as being a big 140 pounder that needs to move up soon. I don't see Taylor being able to make 140 forever when he's in his 30s.
Josh
and stuff.
Taylor is perfect for 147.
Agreed.
He has I feel like he has the power, he has the length, he has the height. Like, he can fight inside well. Like, he's got a chin. I feel like he could go up there and test any of the 147. Now, I get why McGuigan would say that, because you don't want to rush it. I get it. You're 16 fights in. I'm not saying he needs to do it tomorrow, but by 20 to 22 fights, I mean, well, who's he going to be fighting at 140? Like Tank, once he moves up, and
Tank's not going to 140.
Obliterated by anybody. Yeah, come on.
I will say this though: if guys like Taylor, Ramirez, Prograis, obviously Hooker just moved up, Baranchik move up, even guys like maybe Raylick, others, like that division at 147 instantly gets infused with a bunch of talent, a bunch of depth, and I'm excited by that possibility in two or 3 years, maybe, probably. But we definitely get the culmination of this first. We get Taylor, Ramirez before we ever get those guys moving up, in my opinion. Just being honest.
And I'm hoping a Prograis rematch. Like, realistically, I'd want to see that.
I'll take it at 147 too. Like, if they fight in 2 years from now at 147, I'm okay with that. That's a fun fight.
Yeah.
Guys,
I don't think Prograis is. I've met Prograis. Like, I've stood next to him. He's not the size of the other 147 pounders. Like, I think his best bet is to stay at 40. I don't think he's got the size to go up to 140. The guys at 40.
He's a dude.
Are big.
He's bigger than Crawford, man. In terms of size, he's bigger than Crawford.
Yeah, but Crawford's tall. Crawford's a lot taller than him.
Not really. They're around the same height. One's like what, 5'7", 5'8", one's 5'9".
Is Crawford only 5'9"?
Yeah, Crawford's smaller than me.
I think Prograis just looks smaller because of the way he's built. Like,
he has small arms.
Yeah,
it's the small.
He's got small arms and he's got like heavy legs. Like, yeah, he's more compact.
Yeah, but trust me, he'll move up to 147 just fine. I think that would be no issue. I mean, look at guys like Danny Garcia. Like, he moved up and ballooned up to be one of the bigger 147 pounders. But he wasn't really that big at 140 in that sense. He was always a relatively big guy, muscle clad guy, but he wasn't the biggest guy at 147. Now he kind of is. It's him and Spence are the biggest guys there. Clearly.
But like, Garcia is one of those guys that you don't really realize how big he is till you stand next to him, right? Like, he looks like a normal welterweight, and then you sit next to him, like, this guy's big, right? It's the same as Devin Haney. I never thought Devin Haney was that big till I stood next to him. Like, that guy's going to be a full-blown welterweight within 2 years. I mean, I don't know how that guy makes 135. He was bigger than Prograis. Like, he's a big dude. He's now I know why Tanahara didn't want to fight him.
Well,
yeah. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Yes.
I don't know if any of you guys had this thought, but the whole fight, when kind of like once Taylor really started to settle in and like bully him, I thought, damn, how good, like, he's already great at 140, Prograis is, but if he could make 135, holy shit, like, he would be destroying everyone. Like, that's what I was thinking the whole time, is like, he's like tailor made for, like bullying like 135 and 140. But yeah, it'd be cool. I don't know if he ever fought there, but I think he fought heavier.
Who, Prograis?
Yeah, I think he fought heavier, right?
Yeah.
But what Prograis just stay at 140, right? Just he's really good at that weight. As long as he could make it, like, just stay there and dominate that weight class. I'll Costa Zoo.
Like, and he's going to have good competition moving up. Like, Haney will come through there. There'll be good fights for him.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think Prograis, there might be a benefit to just leaving the division now, letting Taylor and Ramirez finish it up, and then already be at 147 when those guys move up. Because then you're going to have momentum in that division when they don't. There's a value to that, to sort of jumping the gun before these other guys do and creating a name within that money division before Taylor and Ramirez, who are, in theory, better than you, before they get that jump on you. I think Prograis should angle for that Crawford fight next, to be honest. Like, that should be the next thing on his mind.
I think there's a big difference. Like, there's only 7 pounds, but at 147, I don't know. There seems to be like something that changes. Like, Hatton was great, phenomenal at 140. He didn't do anything at 147.
Rob's like, yes, I'm remembering it right now. Flashbacks.
Like Zab Judah, Paulie Malignaggi, those guys were excellent
Absolutely.
140 pounders. At 147, they were kind of like, eh.
Yeah, but that happens. Like look at like Danny Garcia even. Like he had a great 140 run. 147? Not the greatest, but not bad. And I think Prograis is going to be not the greatest, but definitely not the worst. He's going to be a perennial top 10 guy at 147. He's going to make more money, have bigger and better fights there. It's just the way to go. 140 is an in-between division. Like
Crawford needs those guys too.
We are lucky that this current crop at 140 is like an actual developed division, guys, because that's like never happened before in this division's history. Like this is a rarity for 140 to have this much depth, this much talent, all these undefeated guys. It's not normal. And I think in a year or so, this well is going to dry up because, again, it's an in-between division. 147 and 135 are the bigger divisions.
Shane Mosley skipped 140 altogether.
Yeah.
He took a catchweight fight and then went to 47. He fought like 144 and then went to 147.
Yeah, it's just not worth, I think, Prograis to stay here. Same with Taylor. Like, I don't think these guys have long-term plans for this division because this division naturally doesn't have long-term plans for it. 147 does.
Hey, that's it. Lomas. That's Usyk Loma together. Lomas 17, baby.
Usyk
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Loma makes
Lomas. Yeah,
Did you
that's what they
did you
go
hear
by.
how giddy Fu was for that?
Yeah, dude, I was so stoked. Thank you, 47. Hey, one thing that I wanted to say before I go is how underrated Josh Taylor's defense and movement is. Oh my goodness. He blew me away with his ability to just control distance and his like everything that he did. Like he threw Prograis off so much. Like I thought he was going to be very hittable for Prograis, but there were just moments where I was like, man, he's just a phenomenal boxer. Like it's crazy.
Fu, do you have to run now? Because it's...
I do.
All right, Fu. You can find Fugatti at Fugatti MCR, all social media platforms. Thank you, Fu. I know you had to jump on and just leave early, but thank you for jumping on as much as you can.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll be on. I'll be on if you want to do some MMA stuff or something later or whatever.
Ooh. We do need to talk some MMA content, so maybe some Ben Askren.
Yeah,
debates and how he's completely overrated and trash.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
See you later, blurry ass.
Yo, I can't believe Gary has better internet than Fu.
Yeah, but Gary's got that sepia lighting going on.
That sepia lighting, yes. Yes, that's good.
Well, I don't even know what that is. CPL lighting?
No, sepia.
I still don't know what that is.
You're not on IG, obviously, with the filters. Or Snapchat,
Oh,
Rob.
okay.
Or Snapchat, Rob.
Okay, yeah, I don't mess with the filters. I know what you're talking about now.
No,
I don't.
Your light bulb's older than me. Are you a smoking household?
No, man, that's all like U.S. natural lighting right there. All the built-in lights are that crappy. Like if I just have my like natural fan on and that like that light on, whatever, it'd look just like Gary's, if not worse. But let's talk about the co-main event: Derek Chisora versus David Price. Chisora defeats Price via TKO in the fourth round. Rob, thoughts on the performance of Derek Chisora and what it could lead to next?
I felt Chisora had done what he had to do, but I mean, I picked Chisora. I felt he was going to do exactly what he did, just bully Price, and to me, Price looked like a bit of a rabbit in the headlights. And for me, it's all about confidence with Price. And despite talking it, I don't think he was particularly I don't know, that high in his confidence. He has said
short notice.
He said since he was very flat, he wasn't like on his game or anything like that. I don't know. I think it's very much a mental thing with Pricey, and I don't think he was in the right sort of frame of mind. And I think his corner knew that. He said, I know people have said, well, the sort of bullshit, the corner throwing the towel in, but he said he was on. He was very buzzed, and he was sort of on Queer Street, and he just didn't necessarily look it to people. I don't think that they maybe thought, look, he got up, he seemed to be, all right, and they threw in the towel. But he was done. I think it just saved him from potential, more harm. So, but yeah, Derek Chisora moves on. He still wants the Parker fight. David Haye wants him to take the Usyk fight, which might be for the vacant WBO. Who knows? But Chisora also wants to be on the Joshua card. He's told Price, no need to retire. You could go out and get yourself a Lucas Brown fight. Don't worry about it. To which Lucas Brown has said, I would love that fight in the after Christmas. So we might see Price versus Lucas Brown. But I do think Derek said it as a way of sort of like, yeah, you don't need to retire. You can fight guys like Lucas Brown. So and then for Lucas Brown to comment, yeah, I'd love that fight. It's like, yo, I was kind of,
dissing
not
you.
complimentary. And you've gone, yeah, I'll have that.
That would be a good fight, though. I would actually take a Price Brown fight. That would, of all the fights to take at this point, if Price does not retire, that's the fight I would take. But digressing to Chisora.
I want to get on that real quick,
okay.
right? Like,
Okay,
it's a
Gary.
good fight. It's a fun scrap, right? But come on, Lucas Brown, find another way to make a living. Like, you keep getting your brains knocked out. Come on, like, go open up a gym and train some kids. Just like this, or go get this is too brutal. I can't keep watching you get knocked out like this.
So good. I do agree that I think Price should retire. Like I'm not a fan of seeing Price get bludgeoned more and more. I don't see value in it at this point in time, to be quite honest.
I mean, look, initially, apparently when he was approached to step in for Parker, he was like, I don't know. And he said he thought the phone call might come. So he said, I'm not going to say, look, I'll step in. I'll let them call me. Then, I've got some sort of leverage to get the deal. But I believe, listening to him, he might have got another fight as part of this, stepping in to help save the show kind of thing. So he's made good money. He couldn't turn it down, got himself a good deal. Plus, I think there's another fight as part of this contract. So we'll see.
Again, Lucas Brown, probably the best matchup for that. But Chisora, let's talk about Chisora, because obviously he won the fight. I will say this. He did look a little bit older in this matchup than like the Takam fight, for example. Like, he looked slower. He looked a little more sluggish. I'm not, as a guy that is in his late 30s, it's just something to be concerned about for a guy that is Jared Chisora with his, length of career, his age. Age is an issue to look at going forward. But obviously, he is now lined up for some big fights. A Joseph Parker rematch, or not rematch, but rescheduling, I should say. Alexander Usyk for a WBO vacant title has been talked about via Eddie Hearn. What are we thinking here for Chisora? Like, what would be the path that you guys recommend to him? Rob, Gary?
I would say Usyk. And that's if he can beat Usyk, he becomes, I would think, the WBO #1 mandatory. And it's like Matt.
Well, no. Again, the theory is that via Eddie Hearn specifically is that the WBO is going to strip the winner of AJ Ruiz no matter what.
I got you.
And that Usyk would fight for the vacant belt against Chisora.
Well, then you got to take that, right? Because you have an unproven commodity at heavyweight, at least in Usyk.
Ooh.
Let's take the Witherspoon thing with a grain of salt, right? Witherspoon. I'm the guy's biggest fan. I'm just saying he's unproven as a heavyweight.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just not the one saying it right now.
So, I mean, obviously, he's a...
Rob, what happened, Rob? Rob didn't want to take the Usyk shit talking anymore. Keep going, Gary. Just keep going.
That's the fight. If Chisora is anything, he's a big, strong, hard-hitting heavyweight. I mean, maybe he can crack his chin. We saw, and I'm glad we can say that Rob's not here. He got touched up against Witherspoon. Witherspoon certainly landed shots on him. So, I mean, if you're Chisora, you're saying, I'm better than Chaz Witherspoon. If he put hands on him, if I put those kind of hands on him, I'll knock him out. So, if you're Chisora, you probably have confidence in that fight at this time. So, I would say that's like,
hey, Gary, hold on. Put your phone on silent. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Oh, Rob's back, guys.
What the fuck happened there?
I don't know, man. I thought you would know.
Contact our support team. Like, you've been disconnected from something, and then it said something else. It was crazy.
Did you unplug your router from the wall?
No, Gary.
That's what I did.
I might do that later. I'll switch off this and turn it off and turn it back on again. Just like if Stephen Hawkins gets sick.
That's really messed up and dark. Oh my God, moving on.
Stephen Hawkins. All right.
No,
You don't get the joke. Never mind. Moving on. Moving on. Okay.
I don't. Yeah,
Chisora. Okay, Chisora.
we launches all right. Okay.
Well, I don't think you ever gave an answer because you just left.
I don't know what the question is.
But like, if you were advising Chisora, would you advise him to take the Usyk vacant title shot potentially, or would you advise him to take the Parker fight?
I don't know. We're gonna have to. Like I say, he wants to be on the Saudi card, but which do you wait for? I personally, as much as I don't know, I'm not excited by a Parker fight. That's for sure, because
Really?
Parker's not going to come to try and knock Chisora out. I don't think.
Well, neither is Usyk.
Huh?
Neither
Definitely
is
not Usyk. Yeah.
neither is
Yeah, but
Usyk.
Usyk's going to grind you down. He's gonna like, I don't know, accumulation.
Okay.
Once he starts going through the gears.
I mean, Parker did almost finish Dylan White.
Yeah, but he had to at that point. He was losing.
I just
I
want.
don't even know why you're smoking.
Just-
You're right. He tried. He nearly did at the end, but he had to at that point.
I just want to mess with you and bring up UK names, and
You
that's
can
all.
try.
It's like when you text me at 6:00 in the morning that Mario Barrios is no good. It's like
Yes, that's so good, Rob. When you do that, that's the best.
Spencer's gonna lose. Barrios sucks. It's like I haven't even had coffee yet. What's going
You're
on?
not even
here?
awake yet. Rob-
Yeah, you got to realize I've been up a while. I'm bored.
but digress from that.
But
I think
I would say if there's a title shot, then go for it. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you go for a title?
we're all in agreement here that
know,
Chisora
he told-
Usyk would be the fight to make, and
He told Usyk, stop juggling and dancing. That's for the circus. This is boxing.
Lunatic is saying Chisora isn't ranked with the WBO, but come on, man, that won't be an issue. It's the rankings. Trust me, not an issue.
Well,
If next month you see Chisora in their rankings, don't be surprised, guys, and see him high as well. Don't be surprised.
but you still have to outpay Aram for that spot, though, right? Because Aram and Frank Warren usually control the 1 and 2 spot, so it's not a problem. You can do it, but you have to open up you have to open up your wallet.
Yeah, you just have to outpay Frank Warren.
It can be done, but it can get costly.
Look at this. Okay. If we're going to go by the current WBO rankings, this is as of the 24th of October. Okay.
Okay.
So you got obviously Ruiz is the champion. He's fighting Joshua, who's number 3 in their rankings at the moment. So the winner of that, okay, so get stripped. That leaves obviously Usyk can face either Tyson Fury, Joseph Parker's at 4, Kaunaki is 5, Dubois is 6,
Oh, that's not a bad matchup.
Junior Farr, Michael
No.
Hunter 8.
No, it went huge
It went
drop
south
off.
quick. Yeah.
Wait.
Junior Fa. He's another one. Oh, he's
Wait.
big.
Did he just lose, or like he almost lose? Like, okay, I'm waiting.
Romanov is 9.
Who?
Tom Schwartz back in at number 10.
Oh my god.
Carlos Takam, I don't even know who that is. Ajit Caballero, Jermaine Franklin is just propping up the 15 at the moment. But
How is Junior Fa and what was the other name you mentioned before? Takum. That was really bad. Oh, Schwartz.
Tom Schwartz and Romanov.
How are those guys ranked above guys like Carlos Takum and Daniel Dubois? Like how? Like how is that possible?
Because Takum signed with LaGuardia, so they didn't have enough money to buy him a higher spot.
No, that's I know why, but I mean like it's more rhetorical. Like I'm just yelling at the sanctioning bodies. Like why are you guys this blatantly just bad? Because like the first 5 or so were decent. Like Fury, Parker. Like I'm okay with those matchups. And if we had to get in a world where a sanctioning body strips a champion that does not deserve to be stripped, which happens far too often, if we get a Usyk Fury fight as for the vacant strap, I think everyone's okay with that, largely speaking. Like, that's still a good fight. Like, yeah, it's for a vacant strap. That fucking sucks. We should criticize that. But we still get a good fight out of it. Same with Usyk Parker even, right? This issue with just the sanctioning bodies stripping people for no reason just goes beyond this matchup and this individual situation. Like, this is just a continual issue of theirs.
I just don't see why, like, the sanctioning bodies just can't rank the best guy. Like, who's the best heavyweight without a belt? It's Fury. Who's the next best? White or Ortiz. Like, why can't those be your top three? Like, why do they have to play this ridiculous game where they rank absurd people in random spots? It's like they just pull names out of a hat and says, you're ranked one.
Because well, I know you know why, but
I know why.
For the audience, this is how it works. Because the sanctioning body needs to make money. How do they make money? Well, first off, you need to pay a sanctioning fee. You pay a certain sanctioning fee per your ranking to be in the sanctioning body. If you don't pay that sanctioning fee, you're not ranked. You're not the champion. So that's how they make money.
That was for the WBO Continental title, so that's got him a ranking anyway, right? Straight away.
Who?
Chisora. That fight with Price was somehow made a WBO.
Oh, Rob over here with Sherlock Holmes over here, Rob. I like it.
Let me look it up, see what it is, and what does that mean?
It probably means nothing. Like the franchise champion. It means a lot, but means nothing at the same time. Why are you looking that up? Any last thoughts on Chisora Price? Because we have a lot of topics to get to, guys. Holy shit. And we've been talking about Prograis Taylor a lot, which it deserved. It was a great fight.
Derek Chisora, he's like Madonna, keeps reinventing himself.
We should end it on there. Yes, that's the perfect way to end the Chisora topic.
And it was for the WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title. So.
Yes, the vacant one, by the way, guys. Makes zero difference for bullshit title. Lee Selby loses. Oh, sorry. Lee Selby beats Ricky Burns via unanimous decision. Majority decision. There was one draw scorecard. Ricky Burns had a really good fight here. He just couldn't cut off the ring, to be honest. If he cut off the ring, he would be more efficient in this fight. He would have won the rounds more clearer, and he would have probably won this fight. Lee Selby was able just to get outside enough, use the lateral movement enough that I think that the judges liked that. But honestly, I thought Ricky Burns did some really good work here, and arguably could have even won a decision here. I didn't score this fight, but I was thinking Ricky Burns was winning this just because Lee Selby was not doing a lot, in my opinion. Though Lee Selby did have a better second half fight than he did in the first half. We'll definitely give him that credit.
That's if you gave somebody early rounds to Selby, and I didn't score it either.
Yeah.
But I thought Burns won the first half and Selby won the second half. But I thought Selby won like all the second half rounds. Now Burns may have won all the early rounds, but if you gave some of those to Selby, Selby probably wins the fight.
Yeah, a real shame. IFL done an interview with him. He was
Burns
Ricky Burns was a bit upset, and it was emotional. He's saying I thought I just did enough, but for me, I didn't actually score it, but you just felt Burns was kind of a little bamboozled. He couldn't quite close the distance, or he couldn't land anything significant and really get about his work, because Selby was a little slick, and I believe I was the only one that picked Selby as well out of the panel. So
which I thought I was going to be the only one picking Burns, and then Matt picked him too.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm really worried about this Kovalev Canelo pick coming up, guys. I'm really concerned about
I got my pick.
I still don't. I'm on the fence still, guys. I'll be honest.
Wait till I pick.
You want to? Because I'm going counterintuitive. I'm picking the opposite of what I actually think to see if that works out this time.
No, don't do that, Gary. That never works. Trust me, that never works.
He kind of did that with Prograis Taylor. I've picked Prograis, but I think it's probably going to be Taylor. I said, so you think one, but picking the other? That's okay.
I went back and forth on that so much. I had to pick someone, and you could see why. It was a 50-50 fight.
That's the difference. I'm a UK guy. Went with the UK guy.
Yeah, the bias. Talking about UK fighters, Lawrence Sokola picked up the win. Good for him. Any other thoughts on the undercard, guys?
Oh my god. I thought Okolie was a little improved, and he's just got to somehow shake this this as soon as a fight announced with Okolie that everyone goes, oh fuck. So there's room for improvement, but he's learning on the job, and he done the business. Got another knockout, another win, another bout, whatever. But yeah, still room to improve. Conor Benn, done his thing as well. Impressive, quite brutal knockout. Who else on the card? Shannon Courtney, tested.
Me and Rob did have videos for the Okolie one as well.
Yeah,
those are going to be put out. Don't worry. They're still there. So
I'm not worried.
if you want to get more of my thoughts on these fights, the videos will come out soon.
I'm not worried because one of them is Take Two.
You spoiled it. Don't spoil it.
That's funny. Shannon Courtney got a win. She was tested. The girl, she just came out of her. She was like a poor woman's pursuit. She was just throwing hands constantly. And Shannon Courtney had to get about her work and box pretty well. She done all right, but it was a test. But yeah, she's only like 4-0, so that's good. Amo Williams got a unanimous decision. Who else was on the card? Can't think, but no, it was a good night. It was a good night of boxing, and obviously the main event was just worth the pay-per-view money for me anyway, 100%.
Moving on.